Welcome to India Business Report. I'm Karishma Vaswani in Mumbai. This week we're coming to you from the Bombay Stock Exchange because let's face it, if there's anything everyone wants to know about the coming year, it's where is the Sensex headed in 2008. Now 2007 was an extremely volatile year for investors in the Indian stock market, a roller coaster ride to say the least. We saw shares here on the Sensex go from 14,000 to 20,000 in just 1 year. It seemed like there was no stopping this market, going from high to record high almost on a daily basis. But it wasn't without its hiccups. In October, markets slumped 9% in just 1 day, as foreign investors pulled out billions of dollars from Indian shares, worried about the lack of clarification on investing in the stock market here. So where are markets headed in 2008? A question I put to Andrew Holland of Merrill Lynch and Alok Nanavathy of Centrum Broking.
I think the first quarter will probably set the tone of how volatile it's going to be. I was in New York last week, and there's still the jury's still out in, is it a recession in the US, is it not? And then the decoupling story of Asia. If it is a severe recession in the US, how will that affect China? And could China really be decoupled from the US? If it's not, then obviously you could see commodity prices falling, which would have an earnings impact for Indian companies. And so we might see downgrades if that was the scenario.
Alok, there's a sense that India is largely insulated from anything that's happening in the greater economy and won't be affected if there is a recession in the US in 2008.
I'm not sure if it would be a question of insulated because I don't think we could be independent of everything else or the surrounding. But yeah, to a great extent, we may not be affected as it were to be the case, as Andy also pointed out, that if there's a recession in the US and a hard one at that, then yeah, we will be impacted, not very significantly in my opinion, but there will be some signs that you will see in interest rates, etc., where there will be some amount of impact upon the Indian markets on a whole.
Andrew, there was a perception that in the year 2007, foreign investors were pretty much told that they needed to start playing by the rules and investing in the Indian stock market the way the stock market regulator here wanted them to. What do you think the impact of this is going to be in 2008?
Everyone will be looking at where does India stand in the global scenario. It is a safer haven. It's got strong growth in terms of GDP and earnings growth. So you will see funds continue to be positive into India. And as a lot of funds get registered, they will start to deploy this money into India, probably in the first quarter.
Alok, there's a sense that the Indian market is a really expensive one of the most expensive in the region, in fact, and that valuations here are getting well ahead of themselves.
Because you've seen a pretty strong GDP numbers coming out, and the underlying growth story still is fairly intact for most companies. So you are having bottom lines also reflect the figures that we would expect from an 18, 20, 22 multiple on the index.
Andrew Holland there of Merrill Lynch and Alok Nanavathy of Centrum Broking. Well, apart from share prices, property prices are in a short break right now. But when we come back, what does the future hold for India's economy in 2008? We'll be gazing into an astrologer's crystal ball. Well, that's all the time that we have for you this week. Join us again next week when we look at how the Indian diaspora is coming back to take advantage of the growing opportunities in the Indian economy. Now, if you have any questions or comments about this week's show, do email us at asiabiz@bbc.co.uk. Till next week then, from everyone here at the India Business Report team, thanks for watching the program and have a very prosperous new year. I'm Karishma Vaswani in Mumbai. See you in the new year.
Hello, I'm Anisha Tank. It's World Biz Day because it's a public holiday, but trouble is looming when the US reopens, and that will happen on Tuesday. One country, though, which suffered especially badly was India, where the stock market lost more than 7%, its second biggest one-day fall ever. From India, here's Karishma Vaswani.
Investors in India are calling it a Black Monday, and what a nerve-wracking day it's been. Shares here at the Bombay Stock Exchange seeing their biggest ever point drop in a single day. Those with money in these markets reeling from their losses.
Today I've lost so much money I can't pay my broker. What can I do now? Just hope and pray for the best.
I got hit pretty badly by today's crash. We've seen corrections in this market before, but I've never seen anything as bad as this.
On the trading floor, the mood was no better. Brokers here had been expecting some correction, but no one expected that worries about America's credit squeeze would have such an impact. Some analysts saying, though, that it was naive to think Indian shares wouldn't be affected by a US slowdown.
We cannot be independent of everybody else. We still have a growing export sector, and that would mean that we are linked with other economies, especially in the software arena, in terms of agricultural exports, etc. So yes, we are not decoupled completely.
India's bull market has made millionaires of hundreds of small investors here. They've often held the view that any slowdown in the United States won't affect activity here on the Indian stock market. The correction in Indian shares today has proved that that confidence could be misplaced. Karishma Vaswani, BBC News, Mumbai.
Well, those start, of course, an analysis will be coming up in our international news bulletins. But for now, that's it from me. Francis Collins is here after the break with Sport Today, so don't go away.